Abigail Adams to John Adams Braintree, November 11th, 1783. My dearest friend, Colonel Trumbull, one has been so kind as to visit me and request a letter from me to you. I have promised him one. You direct me to write by every opportunity. I very seldom let one slip unimproved, but I find many more conveyances by way of England than any other. I have written twice to you since the receipt of your last favour, which was dated July 17th. I wish you to write by way of England, but to send no letters to the southward. I pleased myself with the idea of seeing you here during the summer, but when I found how public business was delayed, I endeavoured to banish the idea, for 1 month of daily expectation is more tedious than a year of certainty. I think it would be a relief to my mind if your next letter was to assure me that you had no intention of coming out till next spring. Yet think not that I am more reconciled to your absence, or less ardently desire your return, but your life and health are too dear to me to gratify my wishes at the expense of either. I have but last evening returned from a visit to Haverhill, where I was led at this season by the sickness of Master Tommy, who has a second time experienced a severe fit of the rheumatism. It was an unfortunate bequest, but it is so similar to what at his age I was exercised with that I think it must have descended to him. He lost the use of his limbs for a fortnight. It was attended with a fever and a stricture across his breast. I had the satisfaction to find him upon the recovery, and much better than my fears, for seizing him at this season and with so much violence. I feared he would have been disabled all winter. Both Mr. and Mrs. Shaw speak very well of our young lads, who begin to think of a college life as not more than a year and a half distance. Charles is very desirous that he may be ready at 15, and Master Tommy is determined that he shall not outstrip him in his learning, whatever he may do in his entrance at college, for which purpose he requests that his lessons may be the same with his brothers. He took great pains to overtake Charles during his absence and sickness with the measles, nor did he rest until he accomplished it. Mr. Shaw is, I believe, an excellent preceptor and takes great pains with them. Their morals and manners are strictly attended to, and I have every satisfaction I can wish with respect to care and tenderness both in sickness and health. I wanted for nothing but to see you, Mamma, says Master, during my sickness. Mrs. Shaw is the same amiable good woman you always knew her. She has one son and one daughter, but her health is feeble and her frame exceedingly delicate and tender. Her spirits lively, her temper placid. The children love her with a filial affection. I longed for you to accompany me in this journey, and to have participated the pleasure of seeing our children attentive to their studies, and promising to be wise and good. While your own heart dilates, you will tell me that the season for temptation is not yet arrived, that although they are carefully guarded against evil communications and warned of the danger of bad examples, no humane foresight can effectually preserve them from the contagion of vice. True, but I have a great opinion of early impressions of virtue, and believe that they take such hold of the mind as neither time or temptations can wholly subdue. They recall the wanderer to a sense of his duty, though he has strayed many, many times. Attend, says the good Ganganella, more to the hearts than the understanding of your pupils. If the heart is good, all will go well. I have 1,000 fears for my dear boys as they rise into life, the most critical period of which is, I conceive, at the university. There infidelity abounds, both in example and precepts. There they imbibe the specious arguments of a Voltaire, a Hume and Mandeville. If not from the fountain, they receive them at second hand. These are well calculated to entice a youth, not yet capable of investigating their principles or answering their arguments. Thus is a youth puzzled in mazes and perplexed with error until he is led to doubt, and from doubting to disbelief. Christianity gives not such a pleasing latitude to the passions. It is too pure. It teaches moderation, humility and patience, which are incompatible with the high glow of health and the warm blood which riots in their veins. With them, to enjoy is to obey. I hope before either of our children are prepared for college, you will be able to return and assist by your example, and advise, to direct and counsel them, that with undeviating feet they may keep the path of virtue. I have hitherto been able to obtain their love, their confidence and obedience, but I feel unequal to the task of guiding them alone, encompassed as I know they must be with 1,000 snares and temptations. I hope our dear son abroad will not imbibe any sentiments or principles which will not be agreeable to the laws, the government and religion of our own country. He has been less under your eye than I could wish, but never, I dare say, without your advice and instruction. If he does not return this winter, I wish you to remind him that he has forgotten to use his pen to his friends upon this side the water. With regard to what passes in the political world, I hear little said upon the subject. We are anxious to receive official accounts of the signing the definitive treaty. The merchants will clamour if the commercial treaty is not to their taste. The peace necessitates many of them to a less extravagant mode of living, and they must retrench still more if ever they pay their debts abroad. Bills are now sold at par. If you continue abroad, I shall be under a necessity of drawing upon you, for though the war is ceased, taxes have not. Since I took my pen, and within this hour, I have been visited by the collector with 3 tax bills, the amount of which is £29.6 and 8 pence, the continental tax, state tax and town tax, beside which I have just paid a parish tax. I live with all the frugality in my power. I have but 2 domestics, yet I find it as much as I can do to muster cash enough to pay our sons' quarter bills and clothe them decently. Of one thing you may rest assured, that I involve you in no debts, no go 1 inch without seeing my way clear. You laugh at me with regard to my Vermont purchase. I still value it and do not doubt of its becoming so. I have a right in about 100 acres of land somewhere in Northbury which comes to me from my mother. I will exchange with you. My father left to me and Mrs. Shaw his Medford farm, stock buildings, etc., and his meadow in Malden, the value of which is estimated at near 800. Now what I wish is to persuade my sister to sell you her part of the farm and make a purchase in the town where she lives, but I do not choose to say anything upon the subject at present. I suppose it will sell for more than the appraisement, and as I hope you will return early in the spring, that will be as soon as anything can be done about it. The estate is some clogged in consequence of a numerous family, but the personal estate will clear it and pay the legacies, which amount to about £300, and some small debts. Adieu, my dearest friend. Heaven preserve your life and health, and safely conduct you to your ever affectionate. If you enjoyed exploring the letters between Abigail and John Adams, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, and leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. Don't forget to check out the description for homeschool materials that delve deeper into their fascinating lives and contributions.